5.3 FM, the Health and Wealth Radio Network. WNN.
The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
It's time to take a few moments from your busy day, unwind, and be inspired as you listen to the insights of empowerment psychic Halley Elise, a top 100 psychic, speaker, and author. Be sure to contact Halley Elise at halleyelise.com. And now, the Halley Elise Show.
Welcome, everyone, and happy 4th of July. I don't know where this year is going. I keep saying this, but honestly, I think we went from January to June, and then we're in July. Ta-da! Before you know it, it'll be December again. Amazing how fast time is going. We do know that it is actually speeding up, but this is crazy. Anyways, I hope whatever you're doing today, you're having a great time. If you're in the car driving and you need to get to the house, keep in mind that you can also catch the show on iHeartRadio just by typing in WNN, or you can turn on your computer and go to WNNradio.com and get the show live there. So you've got us on AM, you've got us on FM, you've got us on iHeart, you've got us on the web and Twitter and Facebook too. So there should be no reason to miss the show. In case you're enjoying and you're going, oh my gosh, but I have to go in or I have to do, just switch how you're paying attention to it. And this way you don't miss anything. Okay, it is hot out. And it's interesting because we know that if we use our minds, we have the ability to transform anything. There's a little exercise, if you will, that I do a lot of times to introduce people to the idea of the power of their mind. And it has to do with being a hot day and imagining, but they start out in an air-conditioned space. They don't start out actually in the physical outside. But the idea is to create a particular image, a sensation, that you will find that your body physically responds to. You can do the same thing with the heat. And if you're going, what? You lost me there. Here's the thing. Whatever the mind can conceive, it can achieve. And that, if you will, goes into so many different directions. It can be very broad. But specifically, what I'm talking about in this moment is if you're sitting and going, oh my gosh, it's so hot, like I was when we were at the Junior's restaurant doing a show. I didn't have the time to actually sit and get my mind centered on being cool. It was just a matter of being present there to do the show. If, though, you have a few moments and you're not involved with anything and you're not busy with anything in those few moments, you have the ability to close your eyes and envision being someplace else than where you are. So, for instance, if you are in a parking lot, you just pulled over, you're supposed to go into a building, and you're thinking, oh man, I just don't even want to get out of the car. It's so hot. And here in Florida, South Florida specifically, it is really hot. But let's say you are that person, you're fanning yourself because it's so hot and you're dreading the idea. Take a moment, close your eyes, and when you do, give thought to another time, another place where it was cool, where it was comfortable. It could be something as simple as when you first woke up in the morning and you were in bed and it was air conditioned and it felt good. It could be that you were skiing down a mountain and the cool breeze was touching your face. It could be whatever you want, but take a moment to get in touch with not only the image, but all the sensations. So that would be, for instance, if you were skiing down the mountain, you were feeling the cool and your lips perhaps were feeling the wind, and you were enjoying the bright light of the day and the white of the slope, and you really get in touch with all the essence of what the image is, and you'll find that your body temperature actually changes. You'll find that things do shift. This being said, this can be done with so many things in our life. When you're in pain, when you're feeling anxious, it's a matter of stopping and taking the time. For instance, when you're in pain, and I've shared this before, a while back, I had burnt myself with a hot glue gun. I was making something, God only knows what. But I mean, I really got a bad burn on my thumb and my index finger, and I was seeing it start to not only get uncomfortable as far as pain-wise, but it was starting to swell a little. I thought, oh, blister city. So I thought, no, I'm not going there. And I went ahead and I laid down and I did a little bit of self-hypnosis, which is, again, just using the mind. I worked on it for 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes. I don't recall the exact time. Do you know that I had no blister? The skin was perfectly fine. The pain completely went away. That being said, if you're in a hospital and you're recovering, where your mind is makes a huge difference on your recovery. If you have to go into a procedure, again, where your mind is, that makes a huge difference. If you are in a relationship and all you're doing is fighting and you really don't want to do that anymore, if you step back and start to take some time, and it's not just the visual, so I don't want to mislead you. I don't want you to think, oh, I got a pretty picture in my head, so everything's perfect. No, that's not it. It is utilizing that visual and utilizing all of your senses to actually feel it as if it is present. Whenever we do that, we make a physical shift. I'll give another example here. Some time ago, I did one of these health fairs, and I do this every once in a while just because it's fun to prove that you can do it. There was a gal next to me who was doing blood pressure, and I said to her something about, do you want to see that your patients can raise or lower their blood pressure at will? And she goes, well, you can't do that. And I said, sure you can. And I was trying to explain to her a little bit about using the mind, whatever. She says, okay, so let's test it. So she took my pressure and it was whatever it was. And I said, well, do you want it higher or lower? She goes, you're kidding, right? And I said, no, seriously, do you want to see it higher or lower? And she said, lower. I said, okay. So give me a moment, closed my eyes. I focused on just feeling totally calm and relaxed, and actually my mind's eye, seeing the blood pressure lowering. Afterwards, she tested it again, and she saw it was 5 points lower or 10 points lower, something like that, on both sides. So you can't say it doesn't work. You can prove it to yourself, too. If you're somebody who's having problems with blood pressure, with diabetes, with headaches, with sleeping, if you just stop saying, I can't, or you stop saying it doesn't work, or you stop saying this isn't going to work, you'd be amazed at what happens. I'm sorry about the jingling here. I just realized my bracelets are smashing on the table. I'm going to take them off. What I'm simply saying is the idea of mind over matter is huge. The idea of mind over matter incorporated with the idea that you are a spiritual, enlightened, heightened being that has the power to achieve anything, you can be healthy. You can feel good. You don't have to experience pain. So please keep these in mind. And the other thing I want to get to today is about symbols and how they affect us. But I believe we have Kristen on the line, so I'm going to say hi. Hi, Kristen.
Hi.
How are you?
I am. Good. How are you?
Good, thanks. Did you have a specific question today?
Yes, I did, actually. It's about my business. I've been having a little trouble, and I'm wondering if it's, because it's summer and things are slow, or, if it's going to pick up, or if there's something that I'm not doing right or that I need to be doing.
Okay, what comes to me immediately, and don't take this wrong, it's less about the business and more about where you are. And what I mean by that is I feel like there's been an expectation as to where it was supposed to be at this particular point. And I don't mean summer, but I mean in this juncture of the business. And there's a sense of constantly networking, verbally talking, sharing information, and feeling as if, but it's not doing what it's supposed to. If you were listening just a moment ago, I was talking about the mind and how we have this amazing ability to transform things. I would like to suggest that you take 3 minutes every day before you go into work and focus on clients that you already know that you have dealt with before. See them happy, see the goodness around them, see them enjoying your service, just kind of envision them being in the right space, not specifically coming and knocking at your door, but just focus on them. I promise if you do this, you're going to see summer or no summer, your business is going to increase. It's kind of, you're spending too much time in your head right now and not just going with the flow. There are moments that you're very much in the flow, but I would say the past 3, 4, I'm going to say 5 weeks, it feels to me that you've been slightly off. And it feels as if it has more to do with personal life than it does with business, but it's actually spilling into business. Does that make sense?
Okay, so you're saying focus on the clients I've already seen. Don't try to imagine new ones.
I'm not saying you can't try to imagine new ones. What I'm saying, though, is clients that you've already seen have a familiar energy to you. You can envision the person's face. You can envision a conversation. It's very easy to focus on that. Trying to focus on a silhouette of someone coming to the door or a face that's unknown, it's not impossible, but it does take more energy and it is a little bit more difficult. What I'm suggesting is if you're focusing on clients that are familiar, what you're doing is attracting an energy that is familiar, which is success, which is people coming in, which is being active. Make sense?
Yeah.
3 minutes a day, honestly. I'm not suggesting an hour. I'm not suggesting making yourself bananas. 3 minutes a day, and I promise this works. The other thing that you might want to look at is if you have client cards, start pulling them out. See if you can remember when you look at the name, what does the person look like? Do they have kids? And the reason for this is, again, you're tapping into an energy that has to do with flow versus stagnation. When things slow down, it is, sadly, it is human nature to automatically go, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? What's going to happen? Where's that money come from? We go into that place of worry, and it's just human nature. If we have awareness, though, and we allow ourselves to say, wait, I'm not going there because I know better. Instead, I'm going to take a few moments. I'm going to give my focus and my energy to what I know is true, which is that I have been successful, which is that clients like me, which is that clients leave the door happy. I'm going to put my energy there. I'm going to focus on Mrs. Smith and Mrs. Johnson and John Jones and what have you. All of a sudden, you'll notice the phone starts ringing a lot. And it's not even necessarily the clients that you've already seen. You'll find that they call, but other clients will call as well. And we're in, what are we in? We're the 4th of July. So give me a second here. 4th, I'm going to say by the 17th, it feels like, for whatever reason, I don't know why that number, but the 17th, it feels like it's going to be a pretty important day. So I'm going to say if you start now, start tomorrow, just to give that 3-minute attention of focusing and feeling feeling uplifted in connection to it, you will notice that your business has not only improved, but you're busier than you expected.
Okay.
And as far as your personal life, you're usually a very high energy, outgoing individual, and I feel like there is something gnawing at you, for lack of a better way to put it. I am going to say that this is a growth period for you. This started in February. You're looking at another 3 months till this is done, and that simply means that take a look at circumstance, take a breath, understand there is something to be gained from all of this, even if it's not making you happy. And you're looking at approximately 3 months for the cycle to be finished. All right?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm not sure what it relates to, because there have been a lot of things, in the personal life that have been tough, but okay.
Well, I feel like part of it has to do with physical being, energy-wise, and just feeling like not in your own skin, so to speak. Part of it feels like it's relationship-wise. You've got several different things that are taking place on that personal end, but this is why I'm saying, honey, if you can just kind of look at each thing as it shows up as this is temporary, versus getting so engrossed, because in as much as you can be very strong and very tough, you're really very sensitive. You're like mushy. So when stuff happens, it like affects the heart, and it's not a 2-second thing for you. You feel it everywhere, and you feel it intensely. And all I'm saying is take a look at it, understand it's short-lived, and do your best to distract yourself. I'm not saying don't feel it. I'm saying feel it, acknowledge it, and then find a way to distract yourself. Go get a cookie. I mean, something silly, but just do something quick and easy so that your mind, at least for a moment, is not there. Because that breaks that energy, and it'll help speed up that process of flow for you.
Yeah. I try to use comedy a lot.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. I mean, I'm glad to hear it's only 3 months.
Yes, you're almost done. So just know that there is this wonderful shift. Thanks, Kristen.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with the Halley Elise Show. Thank you. This is your empowerment psychic, Halley, Elise, one of the top 100 psychics in America. For over 30 years, I have offered psychic readings, programs, spiritual guidance, and other life skill techniques. As our lives have become more complicated, we often reach for answers. Who are we? Where are we headed? Are we pointed in the right direction? In addition, we often are concerned for our loved ones. I have helped thousands of people navigate their life circumstances through different modalities of spiritual and intuitive guidance. Call me at 561-755-2166 and allow me to further explain how I may assist you in clearing the path of yesterday so today and tomorrow will be a success. Call me at 561-755-2166 or visit my site, HalleyElise.com. That's HalleyElise.com.
Journey with Gaia Retreat in Mount Shasta, August 19th through the 25th. A transforming and magical experience with Catherine Lorenzini. Embrace the energies of Mount Shasta and the portals of the root chakra. Channeling ascending masters, energy vortexes, sacred sites, crystal bowl healings, vision quests, and so much more. Visit JourneyWithGaia.com for more information. That's JourneyWithGaia, GAIA.com. You have been listening to a Top 100 Psychic, Halley Elise, your connection to all things spiritual, psychic, and empowering. For a private session, call 561-755-2166. Now, back to the Halley Elise Show and your empowerment psychic, Halley Elise.
If you aren't aware, we are doing calls today, and I'm happy to give you a psychic reading. It's 800-565, or is it 888? I just drew a blank. What's our number? 888-565-1470. I think that's correct. Oh, my gosh. What do they call that? Brain fog or mental pause? Yes, 888-565-1470 if you want to give us a call in. Goodness, I seem to be floating off into that other realm here. It's really funny, too. Sometimes when I'm doing a reading, somebody will ask a question, and I meander back and forth between that analytical and that abstract, which is that creative part where you tap into that higher knowing. But it's really funny. There are moments where there's, I don't know, just a little disconnect. So I'm still kind of off in that abstract space. It kind of ensures a really good reading, though. So that's a good thing. So feel free to give us a call. If you are having fun at your 4th of July barbecue, that rocks. If you're looking forward to the light works tonight and the show everywhere, that rocks. It's funny. Years ago, I used to get all of the fireworks and get together with lots of friends and do things on the street. And I have found that it's too hot, too uncomfortable. And I was talking with the producer before the show, and he's got the right idea. And I did this a few years ago. I should get back to it. And that is, you rent a hotel on the beach where you get a bird's eye view, you're in the air conditioning, you get a big glass window, you overlook the water, and ta-da, you get to see fireworks from everywhere. Kind of a nice thing. Anyways, we can always have fireworks in our mind, right? That's how we started the show today in respect to that idea of visualizing and utilizing that energy that we have to make a difference in your life. So before we took a break, perhaps actually before I spoke with the lady who phoned in, Kristen, I was talking about sharing a little in respect to symbols. Now, we are aware of logos, which obviously is a symbol. We are aware of trademarks, which also is a symbol. We see symbols all over, and some of them that we see, we recognize as specific to a particular field or specific to a particular food, industry, what have you. What about the symbols that we see every day that we don't recognize? Shamanic teachings shows us that we should pay attention, and I should say not only shamanic teachings, but Native Americans as well as Indian cultures all across the world teach us that we should pay attention to our environment. We should pay attention to what the sun looks like, what the moon looks like. Are there lizards standing in front of you? How many lizards are standing there? Is there a flower blooming? Isn't there? And so on. And the reason I'm getting to all this is we have the ability to understand more about what's going on in our world and what is to come, all on our own. And this is not even using your intuition. This is simply by observing the sigils that show up that are given to us by that great intelligence, by the divine, by the universe. An example is you're perplexed about something and you're taking a walk and you're thinking to yourself, I really wish I had an answer. I'm just so troubled. And all of a sudden there's a bluebird there and it seems as if it's chatting right at you. And you're thinking, well, that's kind of weird. I've walked down the street before. I haven't seen that bluebird there. Bluebirds deliver messages. Perhaps that means that you need to pay a little bit more attention to what's around so that you can hear that message. We know that certain animals have a certain connotation. For instance, you see a possum, there's the expression play dead because if a possum gets scared, it may actually lay perfectly still as if it's not alive and you don't know if it is. But what if there's something going on in your life and you're thinking, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. And all of a sudden you see a possum. It doesn't mean play dead, but it may mean just be still. Just allow what is taking place to take place and to move on. Do nothing. That's very difficult for people. Oftentimes when there's something happening in our world, we want to be able to immediately make a change, or we want to sit and ask, why me? What's happening? How come I can't get a resolution? How come nobody's on my side? Why is everything and everyone against me? And the truth is, not everyone and everything is against you. It oftentimes is our perception based on how we're feeling in the moment. If we're not feeling good, we tend to see the worst in things. There's I'm trying to think of the expression. I remember hearing it as a kid. Oh, birds of a feather that flock together. You know, the idea that if you're feeling a certain way, if you're behaving a certain way, if you're of a certain caliber within life, that you associate with like people. This still is true as an adult. I thankfully can say that I have a very diverse group of people around me from one end of the spectrum to the other, which I'm very happy about. But we'll just say in general, people have a core group that are around them. And you have to take a look here too. There are symbols. If you're noticing that you're really working on yourself, improving yourself, feeling good, you're deciding to do a fitness program, you're deciding to take better care of your skin, sleep more, whatever it is, work on your business. And you have people around you that are like, oh, why do you even bother? You know it's not going to work out. Or you have people around you that say, oh, I did that, but, you know, why bother? Because you end up back in the same place. There's symbolism there. There is a sign there letting you know that this is not where you should be. Now, I'm not suggesting you cut everybody off, but I am suggesting you get wiser about how you're sharing your time. Or perhaps you get wiser about what you're hearing. You have it go in one ear and out the other versus taking it to heart. Well, so-and-so really knows because they've been through this. They've been down the road. This is where paying attention to symbols is really important. It's also really important to pay attention to that gut feeling. Now, when it comes to, we'll say, analyzing or understanding symbols, a lot of times they're referred to as totems, or as I mentioned before, a sigil. They show up in many different ways. And you can say, well, I don't know what a white bird means. That doesn't tell me anything. There are little ways to get around that. You can ask yourself, well, what does the color white represent to you? What does having a bird represent to you? Or seeing a bird or feathers? What is the association for you personally? Because even though there is a universal mind language, there are ways to interpret. If you even type in, okay, white bird, dream interpretation, you get a feeling for things. Or you type in totem, white bird. Each of these things will give you some information, but ultimately it is who you are and how you perceive your world that is going to really give you the key to understanding what does this mean? Why is it showing up right now? Let's say you are in the process of creating a new business venture and you're deciding whether or not the two people that are coming in as partners are going to really be effective. Perhaps one is really good at marketing, perhaps the other one is really good in customer service, and you yourself are really good at the task at hand of taking care of the business. So if you are not feeling 100% about this, you can literally ask, please show me a sign. Let me know what is the right way to go with this. Watch what shows up. Now, if a dog shows up, a dog tends to represent loyalty. If a cat shows up, and I love kitties, so don't take this wrong, but they tend to have more to do with gossip or watching your back. And just in symbolism, keep in mind, not as far as pets. Take a look at what shows up in your world, but ask. Too often we think we are stifled by our situation, by our circumstance. We believe that nothing we do or say is going to make a difference. We just have to wait it out. But truly, if you take a look at what's showing up in front of you, you will find that you have more power. I have this lizard who, and I've shared this a little bit because it's very funny. People crack up. I talk to the neighborhood curly tails and they come to my door for food and the whole bit. It was really funny this morning. I'll share this and I'll get back on track. I'll do a 360. But this guy's name is Albert. Don't ask how, but I was looking at him one day and I'm thinking, what's your name? And I hear Albert. I know, sounds really funny for a lizard, but that's what we're calling him, Albert. Anyways, I got to take the puppy, my little foster puppy, out this morning, and I decide I'm going to take him on the leash out front versus letting him go in the back. I walk out and I hear all this rustling in the bush, and I'm thinking, okay, is there a bird in there this morning, or is one of the lizards running around? What's going on? This lizard, no joke, he is, I don't know, 6 inches, just shy of 6 inches. He's a hefty little guy. They remind me of little bulldogs. He's darting through the bush so that he can get to me to let me know he's there. Now, here I am on the lawn with the puppy, letting the puppy do its thing, and the lizard is sitting on the walkway, waiting, just waiting. And I say good morning to him, and he kind of blinks his eyes at me, and the puppy's looking at him and looking at me almost to say, what's going on here? Can I go get it? Can I, munch on it? So all the puppy wants to do is eat something, play with something. Anywho, so I get finished with the pup, and as I'm walking towards the door, the lizard is following us. And I say to the lizard, okay, just stay here for a minute. I'll get you some food. I go in with the puppy, and I grab some food for the lizard, and I tell the puppy to stay, who's, by the way, amazing. And if I'm going to give a little plug here real quick for Good Karma Pet Rescue. Once again, Good Karma Pet Rescue. If you want an adorable, really adorable little boy who's gotten most of his commands down, who's only 12 weeks old, go to goodkarmapetrescue.org and fill out an application for Gorgeous George. Yep, that's his name, Gorgeous George. You can even find his photo on there. Anyways, I'm going to get back on track here real quick because we're going to take a quick break. But the idea was I'm feeding the lizard. I'm looking at the lizard. The lizard came to the door, took the food, and it reminded me to be sensitive of what's around because lizards feel everything. They're on the ground. They sense everything. So there was that awareness that today I had to be more sensitive, more aware of what's going on in my surroundings. We'll be right back with the Halley Elise Show.
Journey with Gaia Retreat in Mount Shasta, August 19th through the 25th. A transforming and magical experience with Catherine Lorenzini. Embrace the energies of Mount Shasta and the portals of the root chakra. Channeling ascending masters, energy vortexes, sacred sites, crystal bowl healings, vision quests, and so much more. Visit JourneyWithGaia.com for more information. That's JourneyWithGaia, GAIA.com.
Hi, it's Halley Elise, your empowerment psychic, and it's time to take a few moments from your busy day, unwind, and be inspired as you listen to Insights. I am a top 100 psychic, speaker, and author, and I invite you to join me Tuesdays noontime on WNN Radio. I look forward to speaking with you.
You have been listening to a Top 100 Psychic, Halley Elise, your connection to all things spiritual, psychic, and empowering. For a private session, call 561-755-2166. Now, back to the Halley Elise Show and your empowerment psychic, Halley Elise.
Welcome back. Before we took a break, or I should say during break, actually, the producer came in to let me know that on the screen there is information. If you have a question and you want to ask on Facebook, you can. So you would go to amp2.tv Productions on Facebook. You'll see the live feed. It should also be on my Facebook page, on my profile page. I'm looking back at the producer to see if he's got it on both. But I'm pretty confident that if you type into either one, now we have the capacity for me to see it on my screen. In other words, if you're watching on Facebook and you're thinking, oh, I don't really want to call in, but I have a question, you could go ahead and do that. Whereas in the past, we weren't able to. Now we can. So, ta-da! And I'm going to get back to the animals for just a moment here. Here's the thing. Everything shows up for a reason. Now, a lot of people say, oh, come on, there's that heebie-jeebie stuff again. But it's true. Everything has a purpose in our world, whether it's to be still, whether it's to be more energetic, whether it's to interact, whether it's there's a message. Everything shows up for a reason. As I mentioned just before break about the little lizard. Now, he's here on a regular basis for me, but it's interesting how he shows up. Sometimes he darts through the bush to get my attention. Other times he just sits on the side, very quiet, very peaceful, and I have to catch that he's there, meaning he's not making a fuss. When he's making a fuss, that's reminding me to pay attention, be more sensitive to what is going on around me. What is it that I'm seeing? And that being said, I do want to share that I was thinking about the weather. I've been, knock wood, pretty on target over the years when it comes to hurricanes, no hurricanes, whatever. Last year when we were expecting that big one, I just knew it wasn't coming. But I always tell everybody really and truly, prepare as if it is. You always want to know that you made the right move. Because even if the hurricane hadn't have hit, winds, rain, that's going to make an impact. And I'm going to share with my producer that it's not $TH of July. It's 4th of July. Hopefully he gets that. We're having funnies here today. See, he told me to watch the screen now, so now I can get him on things. Anywho, I believe we had an Erica on the line who's been patiently waiting. So, hi, Erica. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good, thanks. Did you have a specific question?
Yes. I wanted to know if you see anything concerning my family and myself, or anything in the near future, financially, relationship, all of the good stuff.
Okay, so you really don't have a question. You just kind of want a portent of what's to come.
I have a specific question, but I wanted to get your view. I don't want to just narrow you and then I miss out. I wanted your spirit guide to lead you as to what I needed to hear importantly, but mainly my family and myself.
Okay, so when you say family, I feel like that's immediate family, meaning your family under your roof. It doesn't feel like mom, dad. It feels more closer. To me, this would be children, spouse, that type of thing. Loved ones that are under your roof. And there's a sense of a major change here. To me, it feels as if there's been some strife that needs to be resolved. I get the feel that this has been on and off for a while, but I do get the sense that, see, I pick up on things as far as in cycles. I kind of get the feel that if you're looking at December, and I know that seems so far off, but you're going to find that things are a lot smoother then, a lot, the word I'm going to use is calm in respect to family, where there's not as much strife, where there's not as much worry. By the same token, I feel like you really have to work on yourself right now in respect to creating some inner peace, because I'm not getting that you do that on a regular basis. I feel like you go from thing to thing to thing, and you might take a breath at the end of the night before you fall over, but I don't get enough of the, if you will, conscious attention to creating inner peace. And keep in mind, when we are out of sorts ourselves, it tends to affect everybody in our environment. Now, to me, it feels like there's one individual in particular within your environment, in your family, that there's that sense of, I'll say, angst, discontent, uncertainty, better word, uncertainty here. This can all shift. And again, I feel by December, this cycle that you've been in, that's going to be complete. At that point, everything that you've been going through, you're going to go, what was I so stressed out about? It's going to be okay. I don't really have to worry anymore. The thing is, between now and then is several months. And the best way that I can really say to handle this is, like I said, for you to work on that internal piece, because if you are more peaceful, you are handling things with more ease. There are a couple of tough decisions that you are going to have to make, things that you don't want to do, but for you to have happiness, ultimately, you have to get a little tougher and say, you know what, I am just going to dive in. I'm just going to do it.
Do you see like a separation, like, or moving?
Well, the feel here has been, like I said, that strife, that angst. There is, I'll put it like this, separation on the table. But again, if you can get more calm, and I know it's really difficult right now to do that, but if you can get centered, I feel that by December, the two of you can work this out. But please don't take this like, oh, it's all your fault or all you're doing. It's not. But I do get that you're very emotional about something that took place with your other half, and it's not been let go of. And if you want your heart to be happy again, you're going to have to neutralize that feeling. You're going to have to say, okay, this has happened, but what I want is different now. What I want is different for future. And I still have feelings, and I still have love here, and I want to see this change. So if that's the case, then I have to get calmer. I have to get calmer the way I communicate. I have to get calmer the way that I respond. I have to get calmer so that I'm not always on hyper alert, because I feel like that's a huge part of this.
Okay.
December, like I said, to me, if you can kind of bring yourself back into that centered space, December, there's peace, but it's not just peace as in within you. It's peace within relationship, peace within household. It's turning things around so that you can have what you want.
Okay.
Okay? But again, please, as best as you can, really focus on yourself as far as finding a way to create that quiet, that sense of calm for yourself. Now, as far as financially, that's also, it's interesting because it seems like everything is hitting you at the same time. There's the emotional and the financial, and then there's the contemplation of, do I stay, do I go type of feel. I feel like stay is a yes. As far as financial, I definitely get the sense that you need to look elsewhere. You need to expand your vision. Think in terms of even switching what you do completely. And I'm going to suggest, as much as it's not like a happy thought in this moment, give a little thought to additional education. Because I don't even feel like you are excited about what you're doing. And you should be. You know, when we get up and we are working, and we're working to make money, to take care of ourselves, to take care of our loved ones, to be able to have things, go places, what have you, that shouldn't be such a laborious task where it's like, oh, okay, I'm going to drag myself up and I'm going to go do what I have to do. It should be like, yay, I get to go do something that I really enjoy and I get paid for it. You're not in that place yet. But I feel really and truly, if you would open up to a little bit more education, you could be in that place.
Okay.
All right. The other thing I'm going to say, as far as money, August, there's a little bit of a turn here. It's kind of up, down till the beginning of next year. So when there's more that's coming in, do your best to just put a little extra aside. Even if you're thinking, oh, but I need every penny for this, that, and the other, take a small amount. Even if it's only $10, do your best to put a little aside so that when you're having this little downhill situation, you're not feeling like you're choking on it. Because I do get it, to me in my mind, it's like this little wave that's going up and down, up and down. And I feel like that continues through January. So if you maximize what you have when it comes in, that's going to make a huge difference. Okay, my friend?
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Have a beautiful 4th of July.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye. Okay. You know, it's funny. I mentioned earlier about being in that space off kilter a little bit, and I know I left something out in respect to what I wanted to communicate in regards to the animals and the totems and all that. Can you imagine? Okay, so we're going to move on. I have Denise on the line. Probably a good thing for Denise that I'm in this space. Hi, Denise. How are you?
Oh, my goodness. Thank you so much for taking my call.
My pleasure.
Yes, thank you. I'm calling because I'm a bit distraught about my almost 23-year-old son, who had a 2-year relationship, and they're on a break. And I see him taking it very hardly, and he's very saddened by this. And I was hoping you might shed some light on it. By the way, he did get into grad school, so he'll be going next year.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I've never seen him like this, and I hope he can lift himself, or I hope it's the right thing for both of them.
Okay. I get that he's just feeling that it's too much strain on him and isn't willing to admit it, meaning, we all have our breaking point about what we think we can do or what we can't do. And I get the sense that he's taken on too much for himself because he feels like he has to.
With the relationship?
Yeah.
Because I thought I heard he won't. He's seeing somebody else.
Here's the thing. He truly wants to have this be long term, to have this be, the love of his life, the person that he looks forward to seeing every day. And I feel like he's battling with, is this the right thing with her? Because there's not that synchronicity between the two of them, and I believe that he's recognizing this. He's got to take a look at trying to fix something that isn't within his power. Doesn't make sense. But if he genuinely wants to have that love, that sweet, long-lasting, we'll say forever relationship, he needs to know that it's coming. If he's,
thank you. Yeah, it might not be with Camilla.
Yeah, let me put it like this: she's a great girl in her own right. She really is. Yeah. She's smart. She's talented. She's pretty. And when she's on, and when I say when she's on, when she's connecting with him, it's really lovely. The problem is she's not ready to settle down, and so there's a disconnect there. So
not that but he'll be okay. This too shall pass. It's just a heartache, a bump in the road.
Well,
Halley.
It's heartache, but
I'm hoping. I'm looking at him, and I'm my heart's breaking.
What I would love to really strongly suggest is that you remind him what a catch he is. And I know he's not going to want to hear it right now from his mom. But
I've tried.
but he needs to know, really and truly, as best as you can, say things that are sincere. So in other words, don't tell him what a gorgeous boy he is, because that's what a mom says. But when he does something, recognize it and say, you know what, you make me proud. Go that route instead of the, you're so wonderful, you can do anything. Try to, I'll say, reaffirm his good qualities to help build him, to help him re-recognize his own talents. Because what I'm getting here is, it's, like I said, taking on too much to try to do by himself. It takes two people to have a relationship.
Thank you. That's what I was sensing back in May when I observed the couple. Yes. Yeah.
So I'm sorry. I wish I had a better answer here, but I just feel like...
No. But thank you. I've got what... I have another quick question.
Sure.
I showed my mother's condo today, and it looks very promising.
Okay.
The girl's name is Heidi, a single mom. Will that be a good deal? Will it come forward? I think they're going to make me an offer. Should I go with it?
I feel like they definitely want it. It's more a matter of, can they get the financing as quickly as they want?
I see.
I get there being a little something there, but I'm going to say have some patience, because my heart tells me they want this.
Yeah, it still hasn't sold. My goodness. Okay.
All right. It's coming.
All right.
It's a matter of getting that right person. But I think you knew that beforehand. When you were dealing with all this and trying to get things moving, there was still an attachment to the property also for you, because it was mom's, and you're starting to let that go, which means you're freeing it up so somebody can come in and make a purchase. It's similar to, and it sounds funny, but it's similar to having ghosts in the house. When
I got it. Yeah.
You walk into a space and you think it's beautiful, but there's something nagging at you that it just doesn't feel quite right, because you're picking up on the fact that the people loved it and loved the people there and don't really want to let it go. when you let go of that feeling, all of a sudden doors open. And I get that this gal is definitely interested in the house. So it's just a matter of how quickly they can get their financing in order.
Okay, but it might work then. Okay.
I'm leaning towards yes. I'll put it this way. I would be surprised if it doesn't, because I get that this is what they really want.
Thank you. Thank you so much,
Oh,
Halley.
you're very welcome. Have a happy 4th. Thank
Likewise.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye now.
Okay, we had somebody on Facebook who asked about migraines. Let me touch into that really quick. What I'm getting is it has to do with the neck. I would strongly suggest you get a neck x-ray. You go to a chiropractor or a neuro person, but I feel like you need to get your neck checked because there's something going on here that I feel is causing the migraines. It's interesting. They've got background sounds on the radio, too. We're picking up on all sorts of things. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with the Halley Elise Show. Thank you. This is your empowerment psychic, Halley Elise, one of the top 100 psychics in America. For over 30 years, I have offered psychic readings, programs, spiritual guidance, and other life skill techniques. As our lives have become more complicated, we often reach for answers. Who are we? Where are we headed? Are we pointed in the right direction? In addition, we often are concerned for our loved ones. I have helped thousands of people navigate their life circumstances through different modalities of spiritual and intuitive guidance. Call me at 561-755-2166 and allow me to further explain how I may assist you in clearing the path of yesterday so today and tomorrow will be a success. Call me at 561-755-2166 or visit my site HalleyElise.com. That's HalleyElise.com.
Journey with Gaia Retreat in Mount Shasta, August 19th through the 25th. A transforming and magical experience with Catherine Lorenzini. Embrace the energies of Mount Shasta and the portals of the root chakra. Channeling ascending masters, energy vortexes, sacred sites, crystal bowl healings, vision quests, and so much more. Visit JourneyWithGaia.com for more information. That's JourneyWithGaia, GAIA.com. You have been listening to a Top 100 Psychic, Halley Elise, your connection to all things spiritual, psychic, and empowering. For a private session, call 561-755-2166. Now, back to the Halley Elise Show and your empowerment psychic, Halley Elise.
Welcome back. Yeah, I was just thinking during break that I was talking about sigils and symbols and the way they show up. And did you know our bodies are also at times giving us signs? For instance, I'm sure you've heard of that person that says, "Oh, my knee hurts. It's going to rain." And you say, "What do you mean?" And they say, "Well, I injured my knee many years ago, and every time the weather changes, I know it's going to rain." If you pay attention, and you really pay attention, you will find that your body gives you little cues, little symbols all the time to pay attention to. So, for instance, you're walking into a space and you get this pang in your solar plexus, and you're thinking, what's that about? That I just feel uncomfortable. I don't know. I just don't like that. What is that? And you're thinking, I don't get it. But if you recognize that this is not the first time it's happened, and you think in terms of when did it happen last? Oh, it happened when I was going to see my ex-in-laws and they weren't happy about me because we had recently gotten divorced. So obviously there's something about to happen that I need to be prepared for, that I have to know that I'm walking into a space that may not be as accepting or comfortable as I like. On other times, you may find that your heart does this little pitter-patter thing that you're going, okay, my heart's racing, but it's like butterflies, like I felt when I was a kid in high school. I wonder what that is. And you walk in the door and there's an old friend that you haven't seen since high school, somebody that you were crazy about and you lost touch. The body gives symbols. It is truly the universe's way, God's way of saying we are all-inclusive beings. We have the ability to look outside as well as inside. So I'm just going to strongly suggest start paying attention. Perhaps even get a little notebook to keep so that you can say, saw this today. It reminded me of. Take a little note. And I say notebook because I'm old-fashioned, but perhaps you want to use your telephone and just write a little note in there. But pay attention. Be surprised at how things show up in our world to give us information, both outside of ourselves as well as internally. Okay, and I believe we have Jen on the phone. Hi, Jen. Happy 4th.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How about yourself?
Okay.
All right. Did you have a specific question? Pardon?
I'm just trying to make it just something in just a general idea of what's coming. I mean, is it going to get better? I'll put it that way.
Okay. Feels like physically not being as happy as you could be. Feels like emotionally. Actually, I'm getting a couple of different things here, and I'm going to say for the past 2 years on and off of one thing popping up after the other and taking care of it and trying to move forward and going, oh my gosh, when's this all going to stop? So is the timeline approximate right for you?
Yes.
Yes.
Pretty much.
Okay. So this has been, and I'll just say an unpleasant cycle, not one that you really want to keep repeating. I can tell you some good news, which is by October, this crazy up, down, as far as where things keep showing up that you have to handle, it's going to be complete in October. So you have the next few months here where you can start looking at what is within your control. And part of that is your relationship with yourself. Being nicer to you. You are way too hard on yourself. When things show up, you're like, oh, well, I should have and I could have. And you need to really start saying, okay, so one more thing. See if you can't almost take on a sense of humor about things. And I don't mean to be facetious. I'm really serious and say, all right, well, this is one more thing to handle. If this was a soap opera, I would be making a fortune. Like, if you will, play with your own thoughts to create a little bit of light, a little bit of levity for yourself. Because till October, you're still dealing with boom, boom, boom. That being said, you have power knowing that things are going to continue popping up. And this is what I'm saying, try to gain some levity. But when it comes to physical being, I want to preface, I obviously am not a physician. To me, things show up sensory-wise. Always defer to your judgment or to your physician's judgment. But what I'm getting here is, not enough rest overall, really, truly. It feels like when you go to sleep, the body is not really resting. It's more a matter of you're down, but you're not really resting. So do whatever you can to create more rest, whether that's a cup of warm milk before you go to bed, or a cup of chamomile tea, or if the doctor can prescribe something light for you to create some peace. But I just feel like that sleep time is not where it should be, and that's affecting everything. Also, I'm getting some discomfort. I feel like lower part of the chest, upper part of the stomach, also in the legs, another spot over the shoulder, a spot in the upper part of the back. So there's a lot of different spots that I'm getting, that I get sensitivities in, and I just get discomfort more than anything else. I feel like if you were to do some light stretching, that would be really helpful to you. But I also feel as if what you really need is to get on a better program in respect to how you eat. And I feel that you need to boost your nutrition, whether you do that with protein shakes, whether you do that with going to a dietitian who really focuses on raising nutrition for wellness. But I do feel like your body's not getting all that it needs. And obviously you can do supplements, you can do food. There's a multitude of ways to do it, essential oils, all different types of protocols, but the overall sense is creating harmony within the body, because I get disharmony, and it's at such a level where the best way I can express this, I get sadness instead of waking up feeling like, hey, it's a new day. It feels to me more like, okay, I'm a happy person, so how come I'm not feeling happy? It's almost like there's a question within in yourself. That makes sense?
Yes.
Okay. So really, food may seem like such an arbitrary type of thing, but I feel like in your particular situation, food, supplements, really, truly important as best as you can. And my sense of this is, if you could eat something every hour, and I know that sounds insane, but maybe it's a handful of something, or a couple ounces of something, but just to keep that nutrition going, it would be huge for you. You would find all of a sudden you're like a dynamo. Okay. Also, there's something going on here, it feels like, with the blood. I'm just trying to ascertain what this is. Give me just a second here. And I want to say the way this feels, it feels as if platelets perhaps are lower than what they should be. And I don't know, honestly, how to address that. I'm going to say maybe Google, what do you do to raise platelets or keep platelets healthier, that type of thing. But it just feels as if they're needed to help ward off your discomfort, to ward off what's going on in the body. That, to me, is, believe it or not, the key. I would even ask the doctor about it. Believe it or not, we're out of time. I'm so sorry. Our time just flew.
Sorry.
But thank you so much for calling. Feel good. And I want to say thank you to the person who put a little something, asked about the migraines. And I believe it was the same person that said it was amazing, which is kind of cool. Thank you very much. Hope everyone has enjoyed. And I wish you a beautiful 4th of July. We'll see you and talk with you next week on the Halley Elise Show. Bye-bye.
Journey with Gaia Retreat in Mount Shasta, August 19th through the 25th. A transforming and magical experience with Catherine Lorenzini. Embrace the energies of Mount Shasta and the portals of the root chakra. Channeling ascending masters, energy vortexes, sacred sites, crystal bowl healings, vision quests, and so much more. Visit JourneyWithGaia.com for more information. That's JourneyWithGaia, GAIA.com. Tune in every Tuesday on WNN at noon for an hour of peace, inspiration, and psychic phenomena with empowerment psychic Halley Elise. And be sure to visit HalleyElise.com.
The opinions expressed